And with that, we bring in retired four-star General Joseph Votel, former CENTCOM commander. General, thank you very much for being here. Your thoughts as you listen to President Trump talk about the structure of this coming meeting on Friday.
Yeah, thanks, Martha. It's good to be with you. Well, I think we're going to have to wait and see. I think I take him at his word that he's going to try to assess where Mr. Putin is on this whole thing and perhaps maybe stake out what the next steps might be. So again, there's a lot we don't know about where this is going. There's certainly a lot at stake, but I do think it's important that we are getting to high-level discussions here to hopefully get on a path to resolve this conflict.
Yeah, it has been a war that has taken so many lives and territory, a lot of territory. So this is President Trump talking about changing the lines, all based on Putin's invasion and where things might end up. Let's play this.
We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine. But they've taken some very prime territory. They've taken largely ocean, in real estate we call it oceanfront property. That's always the most valuable property.
So, this is what it's all about, General. When you look at this map, this is the red area is where Putin has invaded, assessed Russian control in that whole area. And you see that really that whole line along the ocean, along the Black Sea, has been occupied, except for a little tiny bit over on the left-hand side there. What is your take on, the control that Putin wants to maintain with the gains that he has made and whether or not he'll be willing to give up any of that?
Yeah, all these gains that have been made by the Russians certainly have come at a very, very high cost to them. These have not been easy operations for them. They certainly haven't been easy operations for the Ukrainians. They've lost thousands of soldiers. It's been slow. It's been intensive. And most importantly, it's not been decisive in terms of actually changing the outcome of the conflict for one side or the other. So they're going to try to hold on to as much as they can. The area up in the northeastern portion of your graphic there, Luhansk and Donetsk, is I think is the area that the area referred to as the Donbass is really the area I think that Mr. Putin is most likely going to really be focused on holding on to. That is largely a Russian ethnic population. There's coal mines in here, there's heavy industry, there's shale oil, so this could have some real benefits for them. If you get a little further down to the southwest on that red blotch there, this is Zaporizhzhia and Kherson. Those are areas obviously that are not necessarily associated with the Donbass, but where of course there's a lot of Russian presence right now. So I think this kind of highlights the potential trade space. Of course, this is a big issue that will have to include the Ukrainians before any swapping of the lines can go back and forth.
Yeah, it is interesting, and the president brought it up. He's brought it up before that, most of this territory, Crimea was taken when President Obama was in office, and then the rest of this was overrun during the Biden administration. What do you think? How does Putin size up President Trump? Is really the question here in terms of whether he thinks he's going to come out of this a winner or not.
I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or a political scientist, so I really can't make an assessment of what Mr. Putin is thinking. I think he is going to be looking for the very best deal. And I think what we should probably expect to see from the Russians is them trying to make this a bigger issue. So certainly we have concerns about Ukraine here, but the interests between the United States and Russia are much more expansive. That includes rare earth, includes the Arctic, includes space cooperation, things like that. So I think we could see him trying to play to that angle with the president to try to gain more favorable framework that's more favorable to the Russians. I think we'll see. I think Mr. Putin has been around for a long time.
That's for sure.
I have to give him credit for knowing what he's doing and trying to get the very best deal. I think one of the most important things that could hopefully come out of this particularly his first meeting, would be to try to get the framework for a potential ceasefire. I know we're talking about swapping terrain back and forth here. I would agree with General Keane. I don't think we're there yet on that. But what we are there on is trying to stop the fighting and stop the dying. And I think that if we can make some progress towards that, that would be good.
Indeed. General Votel, thank you very much. Good to have you with us, sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.